Honestly, probably about like 2 hours. And the interview guy's like, oh my God, so you made $25,000 an hour on this one deal. What? That makes no sense. Hey, it's Kyle here, and in today's video, what I wanted to be talking about are expectations. I've seen a lot of content out there lately that's just making it seem like wholesaling is like, you make a handful of calls and you're gonna be getting deals. And it's just not, on average, law of averages, not gonna happen. So I don't want you guys going out there doing things like just dipping your toe in the water, spending money and expecting to get results. I want you to know when you start wholesaling, I want you to know I gotta be doing this. I need to be doing this. This is what's involved, so that you're not just like barely doing anything. So what actually made me want to do this video is I was remembering a podcast I had listened to a while ago where the interview, the guy said, yeah, it was one phone call. I was talking to a guy and I ended up making $50,000 on that one deal. And then the podcast guy goes, oh, really? So like, how much time do you think you spent on that one deal? And the guy's like, honestly, probably about like 2 hours. And the interview guy's like, oh my God, so you made $25,000 an hour on this one deal.
What? That makes no sense.
That doesn't account for anything. That doesn't account for the other cold calls that were made, any of the other money spent, time invested. You could get lucky when you're first starting and maybe you make 5 phone calls and you get a freaking $50,000 deal. But these kind of sensationalized stories and framing it like that, I think sets people up for failure, honestly. And that's kind of why I wanted to make this video. So here, just to be straight with you, wholesaling is easy. The concept of wholesaling is easy. Property for $50,000, sell it to an investor or a flipper for $60,000, make the $10,000 in between. That's wholesaling, or really that's assigning contracts, right? Getting something at a wholesale price and assigning the contract for a fee. Simple, not hard at all. But there's components every step of the way that you gotta get good at in order to be successful in this business. And I think that that's kind of what's missing. That's what people aren't really talking about. That's the hard part. Getting the data. How do you know it's quality data? Getting an auto dialer, making sure it's a quality one, or even knowing if you need to use one at all. How many phone calls are you supposed to make? How do you negotiate? How do you find cash buyers and sell the deal? All these things are like miniature obstacles that you have to get good at along the way in order to be successful, but they're not, it's nothing, you don't have to be a rocket scientist, and I personally believe just about anybody can learn the skills to do this successfully. So that's that. So what, in my opinion, is some honest expectations when you're just getting started? So I'm not a pro at direct mail, RVM, any of these other channels. I'm gonna be talking specifically about cold calling because that's what I know. And even with that, cold calling is just the lead generation. So there's really 4 things that you're doing when you're wholesaling real estate. I actually made a list because I can't remember them off the top of my head. All right, we got generate leads, follow up with those leads that you generate, close, get them under contract, and then you got to sell the contract to cash buyers, right? So there's 4 steps. So generating leads, let's talk cold calling. You need to be making anywhere between 600 to 1,000 dials a day, dials. So you cannot be doing this manually. You need an auto dialer. If you're just starting out, if it's your first time getting a dialer, it depends on your technical savviness. Right now, I'm using Smart Dialer, which is integrated into my Podio system for follow-up, but Mojo is great too. Mojo is super user-friendly. If you've never used an auto dialer before, maybe go with Mojo. If you're more tech savvy, maybe go with Smart Dialer. Really up to you. But 600 dials to 1,000 dials per day is what you need to be doing. That's gonna generate you the leads. Next thing you gotta do is make sure you're following up with them. What's the point of generating leads if you just forget about them, right? And not every lead you generate is gonna be like, yeah, send me over the contract right now, let's do the deal. That happens where they're like in the middle of selling it, and maybe you can come in with an offer right in that perfect timing. I'm not gonna lie, it happens, but it's not very often. Most deals that you're gonna get come with the follow-up. They come from making an offer and then following up 2 weeks later and being like, yeah, I know it didn't work out. Maybe, do you know anybody that might be selling? Or maybe do you have any other properties that you might be selling? I just want to touch base with you. maybe, I mean, have you given it any more thought? Just stay in front of them, keep them so that if they do sell it, you're right there. And in order to do follow-up, there's tons of, again, there's a million ways to skin a cat, I guess you could say. I personally use Podio. My whole setup is in a playlist on YouTube. Maybe I'll put it up here at the top or something like that if you're interested in Podio. There's also like all these web-based, all-in-one type follow-up systems. I don't really like them because I can't customize them as much as I like to, and I can with Podio. But take nothing away from those. Whatever follow-up system you use, just use something. Don't handwrite and don't put it in an Excel file. You might as well just burn your leads. Then you got closing, negotiating, talking with people, nudging them a little bit, getting them past the finish line, you know? Some people, selling their house is a big decision, and a lot of times people that get in this position don't necessarily make the best decisions in life. You know what I mean? They need a little nudge. They need someone to hold their hand and say, listen, I mean, this is what you're telling me. I think this might be your best bet. Here's our offer. You know, we can get the ball rolling. And just like hold their hand through every step of the way, but being able to do that, being confident in doing that, knowing when to be give them a little nudge, when to back off. Knowing that stuff comes from experience, and it comes from just talking to people. So get on the phone and get those dials in, and all this stuff becomes easier. And then you've got selling the contracts, building a cash buyers list, a big solid cash buyers list. You gotta do it. The more people you have on your buyers list, the better. I know some people that are okay with a small list and they basically work for a cash buyer. I don't like doing that. Everyone is just trying to make the most money they can. So cash buyer, even if they have the best intentions, they might look at that one and say, I can give you 80, but then you got another cash buyer that can pay 90. Why not just give it to the person that could pay 90? The first guy isn't trying to like steal from you, but the second guy obviously is willing to pay more. Get more buyers, more people, eyes on it. Plus, if you know that you got backup offers, it's so much easier to negotiate. But there's a lot involved in that, right? There's a lot in each one of those steps. It's not just making a handful of calls a day and not following up. You got to be calling every single day, following up every single day, pushing people towards the finish line with these contracts, and then building up a buyer's list so that when you do get a contract, you have people to sell it to. So everything it's simple, but it is work. So that's gonna be it for this one. I just wanted to let you know that it does take work to be successful in this business. I just didn't want you to think it was super, super easy in terms of like, you know, just sitting on the couch or whatever and getting deals. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button. If I just scared the crap out of you and now you don't want to wholesale at all, I guess hit the dislike button. But either way, I hope that this sets some stuff straight for you mentally. And if you're still want to go through with wholesaling, now you can take charge and do that. I do have a course in the description if you want to check that out. If not, you can get everything for free on YouTube. But that's going to be it for this video. I will see you on the next one.